Hey guys, great to have you on. Dr. Ben here, and we are going to talk about obesity, about being overweight, about wanting to lose weight. So many people are in this mind frame of, oh my gosh, I've got this extra 5, 10, 50, 100 pounds to lose. And for most people, yes, if they are a little bit overweight, they do need to lose that weight. Not just to lose weight, but to ultimately get healthier. Because here's the thing that we see all the time. Most people think, oh, they go in, I was just Googling earlier of causes of weight gain. And what mostly they said was being obese affects these systems, or being overweight affects these systems. But get this, it's not affecting that system like that. Yes, there are certain things that happen when you do have more fat cells. It's going to trigger more inflammation, some of those things. But ultimately, being overweight is not the problem. It's not the cause of ill health. It's a symptom of something is not going on. And that's the mind frame I want you guys to get into as you start thinking about your own weight or someone else that you love their weight as well, is that this is not the cause of the problem. It is a symptom of the problems. And there's usually multiple problems in there. So welcome. Love having you guys on. Pop down below where you're watching from, all over the country, all over the world. We get people. And this is a great community. If you've got questions, ask questions. If you've got suggestions, give suggestions. We love to gather as much of this information as we can. Paula, great to see you up there in Buffalo. Are you getting any snow? So here we go. Being overweight is not the cause of ill health. So think about this. Very rarely does somebody really come in and go, oh my gosh, I'm eating 5,000 calories a day and that's why I'm overweight. This isn't like the Biggest Loser show. Hey Deanne, I don't know why Facebook notifies us well over a minute into the lives. Sorry about that. We'll try to see if we can do that a little bit better to give you notification. So here's the deal. Very rarely do I get somebody like the Biggest Loser, where they're eating 5,000 calories a day, just sitting on the couch, just 100 pounds overweight, and that's the whole story. Very rarely. Most people I get actually that are overweight and like even obese, like 100 pounds overweight, really aren't eating that much. So it's not a calories in, calories out type of a situation. Those days are gone. So don't think if I'm overweight, I need to cut my calories. That's not the solution. Maybe give me a thumbs up if any of you guys ever did the HCG diet, that pregnancy hormone diet, where you have to get down to like 500 or 600 calories and then take this pregnancy hormone. We're getting some thumbs in there. And what happened, right? Give me a thumbs down if within 3 to 6 months you were right back, if not more weight than you were before. So very rarely does that actually work, where people suppress their caloric intake and then ultimately they lose the weight and have the success that they want. That's not what's going on. Weight is a symptom of ill health. And so if these other systems are out of balance, the body will put weight on. So I'm going to go through some of the different systems that you need to look for and some of the things that you can do now to start losing weight and find that optimal health. So around it's actually over $200 billion a year is spent just on obesity related issues, amputations or having to get wheelchairs, all these different things, over $200 billion. Really surprising fact that I found, 71% of people in the 17 to 24-year-old age bracket that would be called upon in a draft or go into the armed forces, 71% are disqualified for going into the military, and 31% are of the people that are not able to go into the military, 31% are obese. So 31% of people 17 to 24 are obese, and they couldn't qualify for the military. So, it's something that's not just affecting, it's going to affect their health long term or affect financials or things like that, but it's, potentially even affecting the security of our nation. How many of those people can become firefighters or police officers or all of these other things. So it's seriously going to take a toll on who's going to be able to support other people out there as well. So A lot of different things are going into somebody gaining weight, and ultimately you've got to fix these systems, and we're going to look at some of these things and talk about some blood work markers to look at. What time does genetics play into weight? So sure, yes, genetics does play into this, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. I'll jump into it right now. So does genetics play into this? Sure. If you look at every female in somebody's family and they all have that pear shape to them, bigger hips, bigger rear end, abdomen, some of that, and they're kind of smaller on the top, and a lot of women genetically are going to look like that in the family. But I have a lot of patients that have diabetes in their family, and like everybody in their family has diabetes over 40, and yet not everybody has to have diabetes. So genetically, yes, some people are more predisposed. They'll never be looking like the Victoria's Secret model, just skinny. And yet that doesn't mean that everybody has to be overweight or obese. They may just be thicker. They may never be under 140 pounds, whatever it is, and that's fine as long as their systems are working as well as they should. So real quick for you guys jumping on here, I know some of you have already sent us your email. We have a new email service going out once a week. We're going to be doing weekly emails. A lot of information that we may not be able to talk about on social media, or some really more pertinent information, more timely things that we're going to be getting out to you guys. We'll be able to go more in depth. So direct message us your email, and we'll be putting those together. That should be going out later this week. Got a really good one coming out as well. So go ahead and DM us your email if you want to get onto that one. And good. So here, let's jump into it. So yes, genetics are part of that, but I don't want to use genetics as a cop-out and go, oh, everybody's just, in my family is overweight, so I'm just going to be overweight. Well, it doesn't have to be that. Even if you have the breast cancer gene, you do not have to get breast cancer. Why is that? Well, it doesn't have to express itself. So let's jump into a few of the things. Just like my latest book, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie, we talk in depth about excess weight and what blood sugar swings are going to do to the body to be able to gain more weight and hold more weight. And so two things that we look at with blood sugar. One is blood sugar going high, the other is blood sugar going low. Both of these highs and lows are going to drive autoimmunity, especially the next thing we're talking about is thyroid, Hashimoto's. So if somebody has low thyroid, has autoimmune thyroid going on, and their blood sugar is swinging up and down, every time that happens, it's going to drive that autoimmune reaction. So we've got to calm that down. We've got to get that blood sugar as steady as possible to help heal up Hashimoto's or any other autoimmune issue. So another thing that can happen when we get elevated blood sugar is we get elevated insulin. People ultimately start getting insulin resistance, and we know that with insulin resistance, that can trigger leaky gut as well. What does leaky gut do? Leaky gut can then lead into autoimmunity, but it can also lead into more of an inflammatory, more of a toxic state in the body. So blood sugar swings, every time it spikes up, it's going to create more inflammation. It's going to cause us to store more body fat, because think about this, we're going to use glucose in our cells, we're going to store it for short term in the liver, and once that's filled up, we're going to store it in fat cells. So the more that blood sugar spikes up, the more the body is triggered to say, hey, I need to store glucose in the fat because all these other things are filled up, and maybe it's going to be a long, hard winter, and we might not get food for a while. But guess what? In the United States, you could get lobster 3 meals a day, every single day for the rest of your life if you had enough money and energy and wanted to eat lobster every day. So there is no long, hard winter coming for our bodies, and yet it's still in that thought process that we may need to have to go down that path. So blood sugar, you've got to get stabilized 85 to 110. If you don't have a glucose monitor yet, get that. Every one of our patients comes away with a continuous glucose monitor. We're able to see it every 5 minutes. We're able to see where that blood sugar is going. So thyroid is another one you've got to get it figured out. You can't just run your TSH. You have to run your T3 and your T4, your reverse T3 and your TSH and your Hashimoto's markers, TPO and thyroglobulin, your TG. You have to run all of those markers to get a true understanding of why that thyroid is either too high or too low. And if you have Hashimoto's, it changes everything, and you have to know which type of Hashimoto's. Let me know, anybody drop down below if you know which type of Hashimoto's you have and what you're doing about it, because if it's the transportation side, you've got to do some things differently. If it's the thyroid side, you've got to do some things differently there as well. So if anybody knows which type they have, or if you don't, let me not say I don't know, I just know I have Hashimoto's, because most of you, if you know you have Hashimoto's, do not know which type it is. So the thyroid, definitely a low thyroid state will cause the body to gain more weight. So it's basically a low metabolism. The furnace is turned down too low and it's just cold in the house and you're not burning many calories. The third thing that we look at is the liver. The liver definitely plays a role in body composition and being overweight, obese, all those different things. The liver is going to be stressed out from a couple big things that we look at. Number one, blood sugar. Liver storage, liver kick out, liver. People get fatty liver from blood sugar swings. We see it all the time. Rarely do we see it from drinking. Almost all the time now we see it from these blood sugar swings. So we've got these blood sugar swings stressing out the liver. The other thing you have to look for is lymphocytes, which is going to be viral infections. So chronic viral issues can affect that liver too, and we're not going to be detoxifying like we need to. So you've got to be able to tell if you have liver issues, is it more blood sugar fatty liver, or is it more of a viral liver thing? That's important because that's depending on how we're going to treat this. Then from there we get into the gut and the microbiome. So the gut is going to have a huge effect on our weight and our obesity. How do we know this? Megan, I don't know if I do. How do I test for that? Also, what about IBS? If you're talking about Hashimoto's, it's a simple blood test to check for those two markers, TPO and thyroglobulin. DM us and we can get us some more information on that. So there's many studies have been done. So they take mice, they take a fecal transplant from one group of mice into another group. One group is overweight, the other group is normal weight, and they flip-flop. So the overweight mice, actually their weight comes down. The regular ideal body weight mice, their weight actually goes up when they change that fecal matter. So what does that mean? Well, our gut makes a huge impact on our body weight. And there was another study in humans. They flip-flopped their fecal transplant, and not only did their microbiome switch, but their belt size flip-flopped as well, meaning one abdomen got bigger, the other abdomen got smaller. So here's the interesting part though. The people that kept eating the same way, or the mice that fed the same diet, they reverted right back. So even though they lost weight, their weight went right back to where they were within like 6 months. I know, Suzette, can you imagine being that guy doing the study, or gal? So we've got people, they'll get better if you give it. It's kind of like winning the lottery, woohoo! But then they go back and do what they've always done, and they put the weight right back on and start ruining their gut microbiome again. So I'm going to be getting into in depth a lot more on some gut stuff over the next couple weeks. A lot of information to get into on that. Huge amount that's affecting the nervous system. The gut is one of the first places we see Parkinson's, we see Alzheimer's, constipation. If you're constipated, there's a very good chance you're neurodegenerating. And that neurodegeneration is impacting the ability to move your stools. So you've got ABP, always be pooping. You've got to be going every single day. No doubt about it. Number one, start drinking water. But if that's not it, then we've got to look in depth into your brain. Hey, Gina, great to see you there. So we've got to get that microbiome balanced out. It's not just about taking probiotics. There's a lot of other things we have to do to fix that. Liver, you got to figure out which type of liver issue you have going on. Thyroid, you've got to figure out if it's Hashimoto's or not Hashimoto's. Blood sugar, you've got to start tracking, keeping it in that 85 to 110 as much as feasibly possible. So love having you guys on. Remember, weight is not the cause of ill health. It's a symptom of ill health. So fix your body's health health first, and that weight starts coming down. Fortunately, we'll see even 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds even in the first month. Hey Cheryl, great to see you. Got your message. I'll be sending you a message today as well. Thank you. If you have not gotten signed up for our email list, go ahead and send us a message on that one as well, and we will get into that also. If you got any questions, pop those down below. I've got to jump, but great to see you guys. Make it a great day. Stay strong. Get your body as healthy as possible. Weight isn't an issue then. Energy's not an issue. You can be the vibrant self you're meant to be. Take care.